Hey everyone, I've always loved nature, and now I own my own nature preserve. We're putting out every single camera in the woods, because half the time I don't put the cameras out because these ones don't even have sound, but I want to see what there is in my new woods. We bought over 50 acres of property. See this trail here? That is a moose trail. I have already surveyed my own property with the blue ribbons. This is a marshy area. Logging company will stay away from it. So I was able to buy this for $200 an acre. I got a 10-year mortgage to buy it, although I might possibly pay it off in 5 years. So $200 an acre when the going price around here is nearly $1,000 an acre. How'd I do it? After years of asking this logging company if I could buy some property to add on to mine, they kept saying no, but I came to them with a good proposal. They keep the lumber rights, the timber rights. They own these trees until 2036, when they're big enough for next harvest. In 2036, automatically this property, I own all the timber rights. But also, to make sure I can never go back on my word in the future, I had the zoning changed. So 2036 comes along, zoning will change here to protected wetland for 2/3 of the property. So I can't ever go back and sell it. That ruins the value of it, and it stops possible eminent domain in the future from ever taking it for development if one of the nearby towns ever expanded to this point. But that remaining 1/3 of the property, which is a little over 15 acres, I would love to see if I could buy some of the monoculture. I can't do anything with it commercially to make money. I legally could cut down whatever I want and use it for my own private purposes, but that wouldn't be right of me. So I'm gonna ask them, how much do you want for an acre of the monoculture trees that they planted? This is unhealthy. When they cut these down, they'll let healthier stuff grow back. If you know anything about forestry, this was a lumber tree that they took down last cycle back in 2016. I want to build a little log cabin with some of the monoculture, maybe with a traditional grass roof. That'd be a cool project for next year. But that's my little way of giving back at nature. I never realized how many moose don't come into my yard. And you hear that? I can barely hear the highway. We're so deep back into my property now. This is nice. I'm glad I can make a deal with the old people that own this logging company. They said their kids have no interest in continuing in the logging industry. And when they die, they don't want their kids inheriting this land and selling it to a developer and building 1,000 cookie cutters on it, ruining the environment in that way. So they were happy to take my deal when they heard that. And right in front of the lawyer and the notary person, we signed it into contract in 2036. As soon as the timber rights get passed down to me, this will become protected wetland down there where the moose trail was. I'm actually on the little hill that is dry, not protected wetland. So I would build a little cabin or something up here on this hill. And there's a good amount of marsh. There's a couple of beaver ponds that I want to start filming at. They look like they're abandoned, but I'm hoping, because even during the drought there's water flowing through them, I need to convince them to somehow come back there. And the logging company was hesitant. They thought it was weird, but I've been asking them if they could dump some beavers here when they relocate them. That'd be awesome if they would stay. But this is really cool. And there's already like little roads through the property from the last time they logged. You see how thin these are? I could probably run my riding mower over this and open and maintain some of these skid trails, because these skid trails are in fairly good shape. We'll survey it a whole ton when I have the time in the spring. Wow. This is like already a road in here, this skid trail, right down to the swamp. That's awesome. Lots of swamp. No water that's like navigable, but maybe the beavers could make me something that I could actually kayak in. That'd be kind of cool. Because there's like a scar that's maybe a 1/4 acre of where a pond was, but it's dried up. I'm not sure why the beaver dam's abandoned. The sun looks beautiful. But this is my way of giving back to the environment. This is my way of helping nature. I already had my property registered as a wildlife refuge, but my property is only a couple acres before I added this on. And because people can't be trusted these days, I'm not going to have someone get hurt on my land and try to sue me. So we are posting the property this weekend with purple paint and no trespassing signs, twice the distance required by law, so nobody can say they didn't see it. I want this to be left alone for animals. I don't want the moose getting hunted here or anything. None of that's going to go on. Every animal will be protected while it's on this property. I'm not against hunting, but I don't want any kind of accident where I'm going to get sued. So, that is my plan. I'm exploring until the sun goes down, now that the property finally closed. June 22nd. No, not June 22nd. What month is it? October 22nd. 50 acres is big. Look at this. I flagged down here because I want to cut this into a trail. There's already decent trails because moose are big animals and they knock everything over. But look at this. Come out here with a chainsaw, the riding mower. I could literally mow this and keep this road open. I'd only have to mow it once a year with the riding mower. There's barely any rocks. This is a decent skid trail. A skid is a big piece of machinery. See how there's some stumps there that I would never be able to bring a car down here. But it's cool how there's access. The entire property is like a grid because it's a tree farm. It's a whole grid. The last time this was cut was 2016, I'm told. I don't know, it seems a little later than that. These trees seem very thin. This is really cool. And this right here will be the protected wetland. See how we're down on the hill? It's a bit swampy already. But I'm still gonna maintain a trail in here as far as I can. And you know what's cool? When they log it, so many seedlings are just gonna take over again. And it'll be healthier than these trees planted close together. But down here to the swamp, this is not the property line. Like I said, I don't want any person trying to claim they didn't see my sign. So I have a row of signs down there, 200 feet apart. If they missed that, there's another row here, 200 feet apart. There's no saying you're missing my signs. How big these stumps were the last round. This was a lumber round. These were eastern white pine, these really big stumps. Everything else here is balsam fir, paper production. The sky is so pretty. Look at that. It looks like a face. Doesn't it look like a Halloween face or something? Like a jack-o'-lantern? That's so cool. And you guys have seen the stream in my yard. Oh, I'm sorry, this video was going to be a short, but I'm having fun. I'm just going to keep recording with the upright screen. This last camera is going to go down by my stream. You've seen my stream in my yard with the little bridge, the little dam. Now, I own that stream from start to end, pretty much. I own where it comes out of the hill as a spring. See, this is very swampy. A bunch of uprooted trees because it's so swampy. Okay, here's the little stream, which is actually the boundary of the property. But there's some beaver ponds along the little creek that I want them to fill up for me. No, this is not the little creek, but this does flow with water. That's not the creek. We didn't get to the creek yet. But look at this, willow trees, the beaver's favorite. They have so much material to build dams and eat. I really, really want to convince the beavers. That is fresh. That wasn't there the last time I came out here. Whoa. I would love if they came back, but here's the little creek. It's not flowing too good, but it never dried up during the drought. And you see there's a good amount of sitting water right there. With the lay of the land, I really think the beavers could build a good pond here. I would let them flood all this as much as they want. That would be so awesome. Let them flood this. These trees will die. It'll eventually turn into a pond after they cut down all the forest that they flood. It's gonna be awesome. I hope things work out. That little trickle right there is a life source. The fact that it didn't dry up this year, being so dry, is amazing, and it's really clean water. I really want the beavers to create dams out here and flood this land. And it'll never get near to the house or where I plan on doing some camps. It'll never flood up to that point, but you see most of this property is swamp. If this was near a city, it would probably be declared already protected land. But up north like this, it's unsurveyed and stuff, so if the logging company didn't make it protected land, then it's not. They just come in and log it in the middle of the winter when the ground's frozen, so their equipment doesn't get stuck. But you can see in here, this area floods. Look at that. There's even a little bit of sitting water there with moose tracks in it. This is nice. You see how each tree is on like its own little island? You can tell this is always flooded. I shouldn't have worn sneakers out here. I didn't think I'd get so into this right now. And you can barely hear the highway that everyone complains about in my videos. You can barely hear it this deep in. Look at this. Sometimes a year I think this would all flood. That would be so awesome. That's why there's so many moose this deep out here. This is the 1/4 acre pond I was telling you guys about. Barely anything in it, but a dominant moose trail coming in. This is an abandoned dam. This pond would be over 6 feet deep if the beavers would maintain it, but it's not holding water. But yet water's coming in, water's leaving. Wow, look at all this grass pushed over from the moose. That is awesome. So this is downstream from my little teeny dam and all that. So it doesn't dirty anything. There's so much potential for the beavers to build here. I'm excited about this. This little pond here is amazing.